Hello and welcome to this week's live flower reading. I'm Susan Jane and we are first going to go through the moon cycles. Now this is the 13th of September and the moon cycles for this week. We've just gone through the full moon on the 11th and like over the weekend. So we're heading into the waning gibbous. So we're all starting to reduce again this week. So what we are looking for is, or what's happening this week. Why I do the moon planting, it's all about, when I had my 90-acre organic crop farm, I used to plant by the moon cycles and I got such good results from it. And I thought, well, when we're starting to look at the moon cycles, if we start to plant our own goals at this particular time, start to seed those goals, will they improve? Will they be better? Will they be achieved quicker, bigger and faster and more alive, which is what used to happen with the flowers and the plants that I used to grow. Actually, it was fruit, a crop, vegetables and crop fruits. Yeah, stuff. Anyway, I always planted by the moon cycles. And this week, we've just had the full moon, and so we're going into the waning gibbous. So this week we're looking at the energy, or the moonlight obviously is decreasing. So what happens with that is the energy is drawn down. The soil actually starts to absorb that energy, not so much the plants, but the soil starts to hold on to it. It draws it down, and so then it reduces the growth of the plant. So this week what we would be planting would be any root crops. So anything like potatoes, anything that we actually eat or use the root of, ginger, garlic, those sort of things, that's what you would be planting this particular time. When we look at our goals, what you would be planting is direction goals. And the type of goals need to be very grounded, because that's what it's all about this week, being grounded for our directions. So when we start to go further and deeper into that, we look at what that means as far as the flowers and our life cycles going. So it's all about being self-reliable. It's here I am, but why am I? And the reason we're looking at self-reliable is that when we look at a product or a piece of equipment, and we say that that's reliable, it's because you've got good quality. It's because every time you turn it on, it's like a car. It's reliable because every time you turn it on, you know it's going to be working. You know that it's not guzzling up all the fuel. You know all these areas about them, and it makes that piece of equipment reliable. And that's what we need to look at today for ourselves. We need to see what we're doing in our life and what we're getting. I said this week, didn't I? What we're getting in our life, what we're doing to keep us reliable. And when we look at that in a physical sense, we can look at, say, meditation. What are we doing? We're spending time discovering things about ourselves, discovering our higher self in that sense of meditation. In the mental aspect, we look at visualization, and visualization is about going forward. It's about our future, how we're going to look at situations, how we want things to achieve, how we want our life to look. When we look at an emotional aspect, we look at association. And one of the things that we need to be really mindful of being reliable to ourselves is association, especially in the social media area, because we can get caught into those negative sort of situations, with the way media is, and they start to throw out these negative connotations about everything, and it's always over dramatizing things, get the vaccination, don't get the vaccination, do this, don't do that. And they just throw so much crap at us that we start to take that on. So look at our emotional association this week. And the last part is the spiritual side of it is all about our intuition. And that is about creating the time to practice your spiritual gifts, creating the time to be actually meditating, to visualize, to look at your associations, and to start to bring in those messages from your intuition. So self-reliable today is what's really important. And why we have it in this week is because that energy is being drawn down and everything is starting to decrease and absorb. It's a good time to start to go in and really understand what direction we do want to go in. And again, it's only for I say it's this week, because this week is when we put the goals in place. But that's for the next month. okay? Because 4 weeks' time, we will do it all again as the moon cycles. So what we're looking at this week is our direction goals, and we're starting to reduce everything else that's happening and understanding how we are being reliable mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually to ourselves. If we can turn that on, how does that go? What does that look like? So that's what it's all about today. And again, I have asked a few friends of mine if they would send a flower image in for me so I could do a reading for them. So I just could keep this going and you get an understanding of what flower readings are all about. So this time I'm going to start with L. I'm going to start with L's first. L. Oh no, I'll do the the collective one for this week. What's the collective one for this week? I got my little handy randomizer, not Randy randomizer. So I've got that happening, and this week's 67. So let's have a look at number 67 for us and see what that is. It's a little bit embarrassing saying handy randomizer. No, that's right. Okay, let me share this one. Where are you? Here it is. This is our general one for the collective for today. All right, so when we start to look at our direction goals and where we're going with this one, hang on, let me bring it back up. So with meditation, we look at numbers. The numbers in here are significant. We've got the number 4. We've got 4 distinct areas there. So the number 4 is quite significant in this one. And I find 4 is like the box, the square. And that's really practical. It's really a lot of stability. So when we're starting to look at that side of it with the numbers and meditation, try and look at this week at making it practical. We all say we've got to do meditation. We've got to do this, and rah, 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 and this is how you do it, and rah, rah. But it's got to be practical. It's got to be something that you can do. And that's about setting it up. And this week it is about our direction. So start to look at how you can do that this week. Get yourself into a real set mindset at every morning, I'm going to do this, or every afternoon, I'm going to do this. I used to do it. It wasn't every afternoon. I did it 5 days a week while the kids were at school, but it was always around the 2 o'clock mark because I'd had lunch. By then I was working on the farm. I'd had lunch and I knew I could have that little bit, 15-minute space for me. And it started to create that meditative area. And you start to become this behavior, beautiful behaviors start to happen. And it really is amazing. I know I used to start at 2:30, then I started at 2 because I started going longer and it was really, really nice. But there's no reason why, if you pick up your child from school, instead of sitting on the phone waiting for them, scrolling through Facebook, give that space, your meditation, give that time as a meditation. If you're parked there waiting for your child to come home from school, why not do a 5-minute meditation? Why not put on a guided meditation instead of scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram? It's a great opportunity to give yourself that space and that direction where you are actually doing something for yourself. The other area we look at, is visualization, and that can be about the shapes. All of these shapes are very, very feminine, apart from the path. All these flower shapes, the petals, the heart center, they are all very, very feminine in that side of it. So when we look at the shapes and the visualization, we want you to start to look at it in a feminine way. So visualization isn't about creating like these like smart goals, where you've got to have this much money by this much time, by this way, this how, and this is what you're going to do. It's not about that. Creating these more visualization in this particular week is more about that feeling, about the emotional attachment to it, about the nurturing side to it. So when we're starting to look at visualization, start to get an understanding of how you want to feel when you feel successful. What does that feel like? When you're creating a business, what does success feel like for you? What does success feel like for you? And start to get more of a visualization, not as of seeing of what it looks like, but feeling of what it looks like. I hope that makes sense, but it's more about the feeling this week, not about the actual action towards it. Association, we look at the colors, and this has got the beautiful mauve pink colors to it. So very, very feminine, but the heart center is quite deep in the red. So it has got a lot of drive and a lot of passion. So when we're looking at your direction goal this week, again, it's quite soft, it's quite feminine, but it's got a real strong core passion to it. Now we can have this real deep, strong core passion, but we don't have to be aggressive when we're putting it forward. We can still put it forward in a very feminine way, in a very soft, nurturing way, but we do it with a deep sense of passion. And that's what you're looking at this week, especially for your direction goals. The last part is the format we look at is motivation. And this is an individual one. So the format is definitely of a individual set. Even though the flowers are multiple, which would suggest a group, it is actually still more of an individual. That's one stem with lots of flowers coming from it. So lots of goals coming through it. So when we're looking at your spiritual goals going forward, these would be goals that you are achieving as you go along, and it's all about you. Sometimes when I was first starting with my spiritual, or we're getting into my spiritual journey, I could see things in other people very, very easily, but not so easily when I reflected them back, or when I could see it in mine. When you're living it, you can struggle to get through it. When you can see it in somebody else, you're not living it, so you can see it so much easier. I could see, for example, someone else's business goals. I could see where they're going. I could see it being quite successful, but they couldn't see it, and they had to work their way around it to get to where they needed to be. But I could see it very, very clearly, and it was like, focus on that, focus on that. And someone has done that to me. Somebody has looked at me, had done a reading for me, and said, I need to get my second book out, and I still haven't done it. And they said I needed to do it early this year. I mean, I still haven't done it. And it's like they can see it. They can see what's going on. But because I'm so attached to it, I can't. And that's what this flower is saying. Your direction this week is really very, very relevant. But it's all about you. And you may not be able to see. You may need to look at the big picture, or be that third party looking back and seeing it. So that's our general one for direction this week. It is, we have that big goal, but we have the one path, and in that one path, we're going to have 4 very strong, beautiful goals going with it. So make sure you get your direction goals done before the end of the week, I think it is, because the waning crescent comes in, change over. Where are we up to? Over the weekend. The last quarter comes in on Monday, actually. Yeah, so we're just doing the changeover over the weekend. Get your direction goals in by the weekend, because after that we will be having rest time. So that's our generic reading for everybody. And now I'm going to do, I will do Elle's first, El Oahu. I will do hers first this week. And here is her beauty. Oh, this one's got me intrigued. I just saw the photo and I went, oh, I'm not going to even go into that, because it looked quite amazing. So look at this flower. When we see this flower, very, very masculine flower, in the fact that it's such the goal on goal on goal on goal, just going all the way up. And this is where it's quite funny, because these are all the little blossoms. Is this one flower, or are they lots of little flowers that are coming off of this one stem? So I haven't looked at these flowers very closely. They're not, it's funny, they don't sort of attract me, and yet I see how spectacular they are. And they're quite amazing. But this is all about being self-reliable. So when we start to look at meditation, and when I'm looking at this one, so I would say your meditation, say this was your meditation journey, right? This is how meditation will help you. This is your journey for meditation. I see all these is like, it's got to be ongoing. You've got to keep going. It's never ending. It just keeps going. And there's lots of different types of meditation we can do. There's active meditation, there's passive meditation, guided meditation. There's lots of different types of meditation. And I see this as a meditative journey that you are actually going on, and you're just following it around and just enjoying it. But have you started? That's what I want to check. Have you started? Have you started spending time discovering, excuse me, what your higher source is telling you? Have you spent that time sitting or standing or walking, whatever way of meditation you do? Have you been spending that time doing that? I feel you have when I look at this flower, because you had, but you may not be aware of it. But it is all starting to come into play now. So yeah, really, really important. Visualization is the shape. So when we look at the shape of this flower, it is so masculine. It's a journey in itself, but it requires action. You've got to be doing this. So even with visualization, if you've got to be focusing on where you want to go and what you want to do. How does that feel for you? What does that look like? And I don't mean 24/7, because you don't want to be living in the future. But I do mean you need to put some time and effort into it. And especially in looking at this image, a lot of time and effort into it. I don't know how quick these flowers come out of the plant, but it's amazing. All of a sudden I see them. They're there, but they seem to have come up so quickly. And yet there's this journey towards it. So we can look at it in that whole big context, is that it's a never-ending journey, but it can just happen so quickly and things evolve so quickly. I love this bit of light coming through up here. You might not have seen that. It's like you hit the top there and you get this beautiful, big spiritual aha moment. And from there on, you're just enjoying it's almost like you've reached your peak. That's what I needed. That's the aha moment. And then you just, you're on the journey down, and it's just all smooth sailing, just lovely. When we look at the colors aren't jumping out at me. Which means the association, this one here is down here, it's beautiful, which means association for you is, I don't think you're having problems with association. I think you're actually dealing with that quite nicely and quite well. A lot of green in there, obviously, and I look at green as healing. I look at it as healing. I look at it in a health sort of area, but it is also wealth. If you're American, they have the greenback, they have the money is all green. So it can be that side of it. But I see it as nurturing, very, very nature, green. When we look at green, we do tend to go towards that nature side of things. So what was the last one? The last one is about your intuition. So that's your format. And again, your format is of a individual nature. So it is all about you. No one else can help you with this one. You have to put the time and effort in yourself. So if you want to know what your intuitive messages are, or what your spiritual gifts are, you need to put the time and effort in yourself. No one else can help you with that one. You will get hints and ideas from others, but reality is you got to do the work. Okay, Elle, that is yours for this week. Next, we are going to have, I'm going to go to Melly. Melly, yours is next. Oh, I've got ice on my knee because I hurt my knee. Mel, this is yours, and it's about self-reliable. Okay. So meditation, when we start to look at the numbers, there is no numbers there that are set. I've got this beautiful light coming in again from the back there. It always seems to have this beautiful light in it. But Mel does do photography, and so she knows how to capture these beautiful images. When you see this light, and what do they call it, light refraction coming through anyway, it looks stunning. So meditation is about your numbers. There's no set numbers in here. There's no distinct way of doing it. And I think that's because Mel's form of meditation is journaling. And so when she starts to do her journaling is when she's receiving those intuitive messages. So she is a journaler. And that's sort of telling us here that that's what she needs to do, because there is no set numbers to sort of help her with, with that sort of context. Whereas when we did the collective one, there was a set number of 4. And even L's was a set number of the 1. And the 1 is that just on your own. It's determined independence. It's, very, very powerful. Mel's got no numbers in these. Well, I'll put it this way, I'm not going to bloody count them all. So the numbers aren't relevant for her. So meditation for her is about journaling. So it is more about that active form of meditation, not a passive form. So this is what we call active, because you're actually physically doing something and allowing those intuitive messages to come through. So it just sort of takes over and starts to write, which is a fantastic way of meditating. Visualization is about shapes and behaviors. Now, we've got these flowers are very, very elongated. The petals are elongated. We've got a lot of long lengths in here. So everything about this, as far as visualization is concerned, is you need to be doing it. It needs to be more action to it. It's of a masculine behavior. You need to get some more action into it. So the visualization is really, really important when you're looking at where you want to go and how you want to go, especially this week with direction. We're focusing a lot more on how you want to be or how you want it when you arrive there, when you get there. So start to do some more visualization. Meditation is great because you're actually writing it all down. But visualization is when you're allowing your thoughts, feelings, and ideas to go forward and explore what could happen. So I want to see that happening a little bit more. I need it to be more active, not passive. Okay, you're allowing it to happen. I want you to be more active in a little bit more, stronger in your direction where you want to go. And not just in business, but in life in general, in your spiritual side. The other area is emotions, which is the colors, and that's about association. Now, I can see with these lovely pinks here, that's all very positive. Pinks are very, very positive. They're calming, youthful, fun, exciting, gentle, caring, feminine, friendship. We're having all of that coming through with your association. So when we look at that, and maybe blending that with direction and where you're going, really be associated, get those associations happening in that feminine area. So your Facebook group, whatever that is, get those associations happening there and get a little bit more direction in that side of it, in the association side. Now, again, the flowers, even though they're the beautiful pink and caring, they are actually very elongated, which means you need to put that into action. And I'm thinking those words are hitting me in the face this time. We're loving and we're caring and we're very nurturing, but we need to also put that into action as well, those associations. So if somebody isn't being loving, caring and nurturing, isn't being feminine, isn't being fun, exciting, whatever that is, whatever the pink color is to you, maybe those associations need to be let go. Let ease them off, whether it's in a social media aspect or even in a personal physical aspect. If those associations aren't working, send them off with love and light, especially light. The last bit was your format. Again, it is of the individual, even though you've got this group setting with all the different areas there or goals there. It is of the individual. Again, it is all about you. And no one else really can do this except for you, but you have got a lot of support there in the background. The light is shining on you, Mel. Get your direction, start looking at that a little bit stronger this week and get that direction right. That's you for today. That's 2 down. 1, 2, let's do Bex next. Okay, self-reliable. Share back screen. Here we go. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at this. It's so sweet. Love the little daisies. They're one of my favorites. Funny enough, I love the simplicity of them. But this one isn't simple. Look at the colors coming through that petal. So that petal has been open and then it's curled in. It's got the 3 different colors coming up. It's so... that's got the center in there, and you've got this other line out. It is so detailed in such a simple way. Love it. All right, self-reliable. Here we go. Meditation is the numbers. Now, we've got 2 definite areas there. So there's 2 areas of meditation that are important or you need to be aware of this week. Okay, one is here obviously front and foremost, but it is starting to feel like you're waning from that a little bit. So it may be a form of meditation that you're doing that you're just not feeling like you're getting what you want from it. And what I'm seeing here is that you've got another one coming through. Now you look at these petals; they're not as closed, but it's a bit blurry, and it is of a spiritual nature. So it is up high; it's a spiritual nature. So this one's still coming through. And as you are practicing this one or even moving on to the next one, and that could be a type of, say this one was your guided meditations. You've been listening to guided meditations a lot, and you just sort of feel like, I've sort of had enough of the guided meditations. I want to try something different. And so you might start to look at self-meditation, where you actually do stare at a candle, where you do your own sort of a meditation where you don't need anybody else's guidance with it. You just do it yourself. Maybe put on your own music. So you're doing this changeover in your in that context. So your direction for your meditation side is slightly changing. This one isn't as appealing anymore, and a new one is coming through. Or you could be starting that new one already, and you're weaning off from one to the other. So yeah, there's a bit of change happening there. In visualization, about creating, and that's about the shapes. Now, we see these are very elongated. The newer ones are a bit rounder, but these ones are very elongated. So the flower itself is feminine in the shape, but the petals are quite sharp, quite elongated. The attraction is quite, it's almost like if you were following somebody or doing somebody else's meditative course, you're starting to go, they're making me do things that I just don't want to do. They've got their own way of doing something, and it's just not resonating as well with me. And so it's starting to curl up. It's not starting to sort of not have that appeal at this stage. So there's some changes there happening with your meditation, with your visualization, even with your association. It's all matching up. Even your association is going, I've got a lot of heart in it still, but it's just not as appealing to me. The heart is, what's keeping you there is the heart, but it's not attracting you to it anymore. So there's areas there. Again, with your association, well, that's the shapes. With your association, we're looking at the colors, and look, the colors are very distinct. You're not blended those. They're very, very distinct. So you've got quite clear boundaries. If people are crossing those boundaries, if you're in a meditation situation, you're in a group situation, that they're crossing those boundaries, or you're even doing it yourself, you've created new boundaries because you've allowed old ones to go. You are very particular on your boundaries, and that's fine. That's who you are. Allow that to be. If they're crossing those boundaries, then you need to do something about that too. But there's a lot of heart there. There's a lot of stuff there. I was going to go in the colors. The colors are yellow. I almost see this yellow here is prestige. The orange is ambition, could be ambition, but I can see this here as almost a prestige, because it's such a, you've got this prestige around this center, this pink center, which is, it could be friendship. It could be friendship. But there's this prestige around it, and that is starting to wean off. You're starting to wean off of that, and you're looking at something different. So with your direction, and then we've got the format. Again, you're in an individual format. I'm taking too long. You've got the individual format. So for this week, when we're looking at your direction, okay, there's things there. You're starting to wean off something, and you need to look at further afield. What is, you are either looking at the same thing in a different context, or is there something else there that will do the same, give me the same sort of feeling? So look at your direction in there. Which way are you heading with that one? Are you staying with the old, or are you looking at something different, new? The old but upgraded, or are you looking at something new going forward? So that's your direction. Get your direction goal done. Bex, that was next. We'll do Sal's next for share Sal's. Sally's, that's beautiful. Again, the lovely Daisy. And look at this. Nothing to help her down here. Everything spiritual up there. Very active, very on point here. So when we're looking at meditation here, there is 2 areas there. You may be a little bit scattered with your meditation. It's not real clear, like the appeal to it isn't real distinct. It's just a little bit scattered, and that's fine too, because you've got 2 ways of doing that, and they're both clear and they're both crisp. You've got that. You're on point there. Your visualization is about numbers. So on the number, meditation is about numbers. And with 2, you've got choice, you've got communication, understanding, and that equilibrium, you know, the opposite, the yin and the yang type thing. You've got the number 2. So very understandable as far as your meditation goes. Erratic as far as your attraction is, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to have that like that. Visualization is about the shapes. Again, we're very elongated, very, very elongated. Everything about this is masculine. The actual flower shape itself is feminine, and the heart is, but everything else is very, very masculine. So when we're looking at visualization, it's an action. You've got to do it. It's got to come from the heart. It's nurturing from the heart, but you have to put more effort into it. A bit like Melly's, it's got to have that effort put into it, because if you're not doing that, you're not seeing where you're going, and you've not got that direction happening. So direction is really important for you today. I really would like this week to see some sort of a direction goal for a month, if that's all there is to it. This is what I want to achieve for this month. This is the direction I'm going. Get something down and see if you can write it down. Get it down in concrete. Yeah, bricks and mortar, girl. Visualization. Association is your colors. And what I love about this is that this is not, it's almost like it's been adjusted in, like filtered, but it isn't, because I know that their leaves are that beautiful gray color, that green gray. And you can see that it's not being done. So it's really bouncing out of it's almost like out of the doom and gloom, here I am. And this is what your association's about. So where people might be sitting there in the doom and gloom and going, oh, woe is me, you need to be out there in such a positive, bright, gorgeous way. And especially with the yellow, because I see that one for you is very, very cheerful and very inspirational, especially with a deeper, darker background, that deeper green, grey-green background. So that's really important for you to be out and about with your association. So association is if people are feeling a little bit, woe is me, a little bit down, a little bit grey, it doesn't matter. Allow them to be how they are. You just put yourself forward as an association. I don't think you need to sever the ties or anything else, but you just need to make sure you are standing up. Oh, sorry, my phone's just flashing. I must be saying things and it's listening, so I've got to turn that off. Okay, and the last one is your format. Again, yours is the individual format. So as far as your intuition goes, only you can get that on board. Only you can do that and take that forward and spend time practicing your spiritual gifts. And you have 2 strong spiritual gifts there, 2 strong ones. Direction. I want some sort of a direction from you, Sal, this week. Send me a message. I'm on holidays, remember? So last one, but not the least, is Glenda's. So Glenda's is about reliable too. And we've got this lovely, there's a lovely blurred effect in the background there, which looks really, it just gives this lovely light coming through. It's quite intriguing, but it is also quite distracting because there's so much happening in the background, which looks beautiful. It takes you away from the foreground, the actual flower themselves. These lovely, they look like little begonia flowers. So when we start to look at meditation, we're going by the numbers. Now, yeah, there is 2 distinct flowers there. There's 3 there, and then we've got this mix up of ones down here. So there could be the 3, but there's definitely 2 that we need to look at as far as your meditation goes. So there's 2 main areas, and then there's this other area here. Now, when I look at those with Glenda and knowing what she does, one of her main meditative areas would be through yoga. She does yoga. Now, most of the time she's not doing the meditation in this yoga, but she's getting the benefit of it. So it could be one of these sort of flowers that she's getting her meditative areas from. So it's just being in that space, allowing that space to be. And she may not feel like, because she's doing the guided meditation, she may not feel like she's receiving it, but she actually is receiving it as she is giving it as well. So she is getting that information coming through. The other ways when we look at with meditation for Glenda is she probably is doing, I know she does lots of walks and walking, like with Sal, walking is a great form of active meditation as well. So the other areas that would be just passive meditation. And I feel that she may be doing this a lot more than she even realizes that you're doing it. When you learn to do meditation in a structured manner, you learn how to do it in a structured manner. You learn how to do it in a structured manner, which is what I learned. But after a while, you learn to change it to suit you. And you can do meditation anywhere. You could be sitting, like I said, in a car waiting for your child to come out from school, and you can have a soft meditative session. So we can do meditation anywhere. It is a type of meditation we want to do. But I would say this one here would be more yoga, and you have 2 other distinct ones. One would be definitely more of an active meditation, and I would believe one's more of a passive one. Not sure what that one is, Glenda, but you would know. The next one is about shapes and behaviors, which is about visualization. And we see this, we've got this beautiful mix. Look at just a perfect blend of masculine and feminine coming in. So when we're looking at visualization, you have got that understanding. You have got that idea of it. You will look at the future and go, okay, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to look at. Now, again, yours is not necessarily set in stone. You've got this lovely nurturing ability to look at nurturing yourself as you're going forward and where you want to be. But you've also got this active one, this masculine way of being able to put that into action as well. And the heart center, even though it is round, when we look at it closely, we can see that it's actually elongated as well. So the whole benefit of it is feminine, and yet we've got that real action, being able to action it as you go. So it's a beautiful visualization. I think with your visualization, the only issue you're going to have, Glenda, is you may get a little bit distracted by what is happening in the background. Okay, you may get a bit distracted in that. So just watch that. Your association is the same. It's the colors too. And look, you're going to have these bright, shiny objects with these colors happening in the background. That is going to send you away from where you need to go. Like it's going to, bright, shiny objects are going to attract you, if that's how you want to look at it. Which is fine, but don't get too hung up in them, because you're going to lose your reliability for yourself otherwise. So, when you're busy watching what others are doing so much, these bright, shiny objects can take you away. And they're of the physical nature. They're down low. There is a little bit in the spiritual side, but mainly down low. So when these bright, shiny objects are taking you away from you being reliable on yourself, I could almost see that as like seeing something on social media and going, oh, they're doing it this way, I should be doing it that way, and losing that self-reliability where you've already got it. You already know what you're doing. You don't need to do what you can enjoy what they're doing, but you don't need to do that. And that's what you could look at there. Intuition is your format. Again, you're an individual there. You're an individual. And so it's about you actually spending time. Isn't it funny? All of you have picked this one, this shape. The next one as well from, oh no, that was, now yours is the last one, Glenda. All of them have been the portrait format, all about yourself. And it happens to be about intuition, and it's really all about you having to get that understanding yourself. Yes, you can learn it and see it from other people, but it all boils down to you've got to do it yourself. That's yours, Glenda. Thanks, guys, for staying this long. If you managed to stay this long, if you didn't, I get that. Say hi. Give me a little bit of a hint on what your directions are this week, where you want to go for the month. That would be really exciting. All right, that's me. Bye for now. If you would like your own flower reading, or would like to learn how to do flower readings, jump onto the website intuitivenature.com.au, and it's got it all there. Okay, I'm saying bye for now. I've got more holidaying to do. Okay, bye.